got my word on that.
I'm both on board.
Sacrifice me best mare. What's an honor?
Reynald's punishment. Reynald of Clan on Crack, son of Toki, wore a necklace made of a bear's teeth and claws, but it wasn't him who slain the beast. Thus, the Council of Elders has decided that Rainier, son of Toki, will be deprived of his right to wear a sword, and to swear oaths until he slays a bear armed with only a spear and bronze dagger. As contract, stone sword. Olaf, lead guard at Trodair, would like to make the following known. Olaf, regarded whatever, would like to make the following known. Someone snuck into an Ancrate armory and stolen the sword known as Kuyo. I have no idea. The yellow-bellied scoundrel who did the deed was seen leaving the village via the southern gate, heading towards the old fort. Whoever helps recover the sword will receive a reward worthy of his efforts, and whoever helps the thieves, a death worthy of his treachery. Contract, Woodland Spirit, or Warriors of Skellige. If there is a man of ye brave enough to face the Woodland Spirit, the cruel oppressor of the inhabitants of Fairland, he'll get a reward that will keep him in the mead for a long while. We're not rich, but we've gathered a fair bit of coin between us. Come to Fairland and ask for 7. Contract, Mirdenjeven? I have no idea how to say it. Craven Gory and Gold, got a sharp blade and not afeard of death. Then come see Bjorg, the master boat builder, for he's got work for you. It's the drowners in the bay, they need to be killed for their multiplying growths of fierce. You run into them every time you leave the harbour. Kill the beasts and you'll be famed throughout the isles, and your purse will be heavy with gold. Gwent lessons. Currently taking on pupils for lessons in playing Gwent. Should only teach those who display discipline, logical mindset, and the will to earn. Those with special aptitude are particularly welcome. Pupils must acquire and supply their own decks. Also seeking more experienced players as partners to provide a challenge and a chance for a mutual development of their skills. Airman Druid. I think we know a druid by that name back in Witcher 1. Might be the same guy, or might be wrong. Fist fight. Strong as a sea lion, slippery as an eel, and ready to fight against the best. Join our tournament and face the mightiest fists in the Isles. Valrad of Caer Torred, Enair of Faro, and Grim all in Arin Bjorn. Don't delay, Gory and Honor are just a fist fight away.
May your axe never crumble.
Brand those swords, but I preferably trust the axe.
We're going by the tavern later, you know. Our valley king. Red is our are welcome to try too. Glory and honor range every which way.
Need help to swing an axe.
This has gotta be Yen's room. She always did like space. And the luxury.
Ah, here's the chest. Stash. Okay, I've stashed away a lot of stuff. Oh no. Blade from the bits. I'm going to take all these bits back. They will add up to some weight, but at least that way I can just offload them and sell them and all that. There we go. King is dead, long live the king. Ah, there's a megascope. And the poison
Science
source.
agrees. The poison source. Still turns to it for inspiration.
This guy barging through. No one is born a mage. We still know too little about genetics and the mechanisms of hereditary. We devote too little time and resources to this research. Sadly, we still conduct trials in the inheritance of magic ability, using, say, natural methods. The results of these pseudo-experiments far too often can be seen in the gutters of our city, and shagging and seeing what happens. It can be seen in the gutters of our cities and begging outside our temple walls. Far too often we see and encounter brain-dead and moronic women covered in their own spittle and passing themselves as priestesses, seers, village diviners and miracle workers, cretins that with brains degenerated by the uncontrolled power they inherited. These simpletons and fools can themselves breed, can pass on their abilities and continue the degeneration. Is anyone capable of foreseeing or defining what the last link in such a chain will look like? Most of us mages lose the ability to procreate as a result of changes and disruptions to the functioning of our pituitary glands. Other sorceresses most often mature into their magic power with gonads intact. They can conceive and birth and have the ability to consider that a good fortune, a blessing. Yet I repeat, no one is born a mage, no one should be, and no one should be. Beware of the gravity of what I write. I provide an answer to the question posed at this posed at the summit in Sidaris. I answer with every certitude. Each of us must decide what she wants to be, a sorceress or a mother. I'm not really following, but aren't people... They say not everyone's born a mage. But then, what? Remember Alvin? Not sure if he was like that. Probably wasn't like that when he was born, but, you know, he certainly came into his thing even without training. Well, maybe he wasn't like that when he was born, but, he came into it all the same. So, basically the point I'm getting at is, some people mightn't have that choice. Even, they're saying be a sorceress or a mother, but if someone's a source, which they, from what I've known of the magic in the Witcher setting, you have to be a caster. That choice has been made for you. Even if you can, I still have kids. If you actually care for them, they apparently are inherently going to turn up that way. So you can't just say, no, I'm going to be a mother and not a sorceress. That's not going to somehow prevent the kids from being harmed by the sourcedom. I'm not really following it. Like, basically, if someone's a sorcerer, a source, that means they're a mage, meaning they can't have that they might be able to have kids, but they shouldn't, because the kid would be inherently harmed by it, or turn out brain dead and drooling. So people can't just make a choice that, oh, I'm going to be a mother, because if they're a sorceress, I don't care. I don't think sourcedom cares whether or not you're trained or not. Remember Alvin? So if this is Yennefer's, well, actually no, this is wrote by someone else, but it really doesn't make much sense. It seems to think that if you just decide that you don't want to be a sorceress, somehow that prevents, allows you to have kids just fine, providing you're, not sterilized by being a source. I really don't follow. I don't follow the logic behind this. If you've... Part of it is I'm talking off the cuff, and I'm really easily distracted, and my mind just can't focus, draw upon the words right. I'm better at writing it. But yeah, basically, people are born... they're saying no one's born a mage. No one's born a mage. But the point is, people are born as a source. I'm merely being a source, as far as I know, is able to, is enough to, sterilize. Just being a source is enough to, sterilize you. Some are lucky and aren't, but being a source would hurt the development of their child. So I don't see how they can make the choice that they aren't going to be a sorceress, because they're still a source. I don't see how but deciding not to be a sorceress will mean that they could have a child unhurt by them being a source. I don't see the logic behind it. There might be logic, but they're missing a whole paragraph or two to actually explain the logic. So I'm completely puzzled by it. But maybe that's an intentional thing. Also, get the fuck out of here. Maybe it's a flaw in the essay the person wrote.
Her megascope? Guess she never goes anywhere without it. As Phillip and said, megascopes and toothbrushes, deeply personal possessions. Right. Just not something I'd ever wear. But what don't we do for our... Who exactly is she to me?
Belligerent X. Jonas the Innkeeper? Or the Innkeep? Swords on their backs. What will they think of next?
Friends we show our
Not with the black ones, but with us.
If he breaks the truce, he'll prove himself the madman we owe. If that lad of his crosses like that, he'll truly be a beauty.
Just curious if they're going to say Anne of interest.
I wonder if he's as strong as he looks.
Give us suits, so on to the best blade's not worth shite if a weak arm swinging it, eh? Whosoever ventured in, never returned. Got one word. Bollocks.
Okay. I was wondering what that did. I was wondering what is this like Doom and there's just a lever here that does some secret? I was playing Doom recently. You'll see it at some stage. Okay, maybe I just need to stand on and that'll be enough. I regret everything.
Whosoever ventured in, never returned.
Fine tale you dreamt up.
It's coming down.
Peace, mate.
Richard.
Greetings. Newcomer.
Thanks.
Grab those swords, but I prefer me trusty axe.
Just don't go pestering
Advise
folk.
you not to look for trouble. Because you'll
Richard.
find me.
Newcomer.
I'm hoping I picked the right outfit. Save in case I picked the wrong. In case I picked the wrong one. She was just saying pick something complimentary, and I know I'm just paranoid, you know, about getting the optimal things. There's different endings you can get, and actually, since I went with Triss, maybe I can't get one of the endings, or maybe it's you know, there's different bits to the endings. Who knows? It'll just be the Triss version of the ending I'm thinking of.
Let us lead our ways to the front.
Their horns echo amidst the cliffs and peaks.
Bran was a great ruler.
He needs a worthy successor.
You speak as though you have someone in mind.
Skellige's troubles very much derive from it not being a hereditary monarchy. Any upstart can be king and destroy his predecessor's legacy.
The King of the Isles is a more symbolic position.
That should change as well. A strong leader who wields true power. That is what the times require.
I'm not sure. Let's go with this.
Introduce me?
This is my friend Geralt, and this is Berna, widow of the dear departed Bran.
The Queen Mother. It's a pleasure to meet you, Geralt. You must forgive me, but on a day like today, I'm afraid I cannot indulge in my penchant for long conversations.
I can never remember how to pronounce that word. Penchant.
I can see you chose your own outfit. You know, of course, that together we look about as good as lace frills on a battle axe.
Everyone's got their style. Don't like funerals. Don't like feasts.
I know. You also dislike underdone meat and being teleported. But sometimes we must overcome our disgusts and prevail.
We should mingle before they all get
Wait, did that guy just teleport in?
talking to anyone then.
Or
Good
Jedder?
thinking.
Awesome.
I don't know
Welcome
what
to
Clot wants, but when we meet with him, we should have clear minds.
I'm not gonna drink. Why dull my senses when I'm in such pleasant company?
Do you plan to compliment me all evening?
I plan to tell you what I think.
Okay. Did I grab the wrong clothes? There wasn't. I think she said there was clothes on the bed, but I saw the glittery chest, and I rooted that. So assumed that was what I was to do.
The Isles to join the sorcerers and seek further clues of Ciri's whereabouts.
It's now nearly 5. God damn, this game goes on forever. I feel I've dragged it out a bit too long with the secondary stuff I'm doing, just because it's